When I look at any crisis, I notice something that few see. It never comes to destroy everything at once. Crisis arrives first by testing. It observes who is prepared and who lived all the previous years as if nothing could go wrong. And it was listening to Kiyosaki that I learned one of the simplest and most ignored lessons about wealth. True security is not in idle money, but in available money. I learned that cash flow is not just having saved resources, it's having the ability to act when everyone freezes. It's like being in a big market where suddenly the lights go out and the crowd panics. While they run to the exit, few look around and realize that it's precisely in that silence that the best opportunities appear. I started to observe this closely. When the economy shakes, properties that were worth fortunes appear with liquidation prices. Companies that seemed untouchable start looking for investors. Stocks that were out of reach for any ordinary person become accessible. There is only one type of person who can take advantage of this moment: those who have liquidity. And that's when I understood a simple phrase from Kiyosaki. The rich don't save money out of fear, they save out of strategy. I started to look at my own cash in a different way. No longer as a closed safe, but as a key. The key that opens doors that only appear when the world seems to be falling apart. Because deep down, cash flow is this: the difference between watching the crisis from afar or entering it, prepared to transform a global problem into a personal advance. If you observe carefully, you'll notice that opportunities never disappear. They just change owners. And almost always, they migrate to those who had the discipline to maintain strong cash when everyone said that saving money was nonsense. When you are prepared, the crisis doesn't scare. It only reveals if this message is making sense to you. If these reflections on Kiyosaki are opening your vision about wealth and preparation, then like this video and subscribe to the channel. This way, you help me continue bringing stories, lessons, and strategies that can transform the way you see money, crisis, and opportunities. When I started to observe the behavior of experienced investors, I noticed something curious. Even when everything seems to collapse, real estate remains there, firm, silent, producing income month after month. And it was then that Kiyosaki's words began to gain another weight for me. He never spoke of real estate as a stroke of luck, nor as a promise of quick enrichment. He spoke of real estate as real assets, those you can touch, visit, follow, assets that resist the strongest waves of the market. I remember a specific moment that marked me. During a crisis, the news only showed fear. People losing jobs, companies closing their doors, markets plummeting. But while all this was happening, I noticed another scene happening at the same time. People continued renting houses, apartments, commercial spaces. They continued needing a place to live, grow, work, start over. And it was in that instant that I understood one of the simplest and most powerful lessons about real estate. Life doesn't stop during the crisis, and neither does rent. I started to see real estate as small water sources in a desert. The economy can dry up for a while, but these assets continue dripping. And this dripping, when added month after month, transforms into stability and, in the long term, into freedom. But there is a detail that many people ignore. The rich don't buy real estate just for the rent. They buy because they know that in crises, opportunities arise that only appear for those who have patience and cash flow. That apartment that was previously inaccessible, that land that was too expensive, that commercial space that no one thought of selling. Suddenly, all of this appears with a discount. And those who have vision understand that it's in these moments that the biggest harvests are planted. Over time, I started to see these assets differently, not as goods, but as silent partners that work for me every month. When the market goes up, they appreciate. When the market goes down, they continue generating income. And when the market enters chaos, they become rare opportunities. And that's when I finally understood what Kiyosaki always meant. A property bought at the right time is not just an asset, it's a security line during any storm, because crises pass, but real assets remain. Over time, I realized that there is an asset that no market can take from me, an asset that doesn't depend on crisis, government, interest rates, inflation, a silent asset, but one that changes absolutely everything: knowledge. And it was listening to Kiyosaki that this truth finally made sense to me. He always repeated that a person's greatest asset is not the house where they live, nor the salary they receive, nor the car they drive. The greatest asset is the way they think about money, because those who think right act right, and those who act right prosper, even in times that seem impossible. I remember exactly the moment when this became clear to me. I was analyzing two investors. Both had the same initial money, the same opportunity, and the same market before them. But only one prospered. The difference? One had fear, the other had understanding. And that's what financial education does. It removes the blindfold from your eyes. It allows you to see what most don't see. Value where others see risk. Opportunity where others see chaos. Growth where others see threat. And when you start to understand this, when you learn to read a balance sheet, analyze a stock, evaluate a company, study a bond, identify the right moment, you stop betting and start investing. And that's where the so-called paper assets come in. Stocks, bonds, funds, participations. They are not just numbers on a screen, they are doors that only open for those who have enough knowledge to turn the right key. And it was Kiyosaki who said something that I carry to this day. The trained mind sees wealth where most see fear. I started to notice this in all crises. The headlines spoke of disaster. But those who had financial education saw liquidation, saw solid companies with cheap stocks, saw discounted funds, saw opportunities that only appear when few have the courage to act. And that's why knowledge is the fourth asset, because it connects all the others. It transforms cash flow into strategy, transforms businesses into machines, transforms real estate into wealth, and transforms you into someone who doesn't despair in turbulence, but prospers in silence. In the end, I discovered that crisis only scares those who haven't yet learned to see. And when you learn, it stops being a threat and becomes an opportunity. I stopped looking at the economy as an unpredictable monster and started seeing it as a large living organism full of signs, rhythms, and hidden opportunities. And the more I studied, the clearer everything became. I noticed that while many people lived reacting to what happened outside, those who understood assets lived preparing from within. And this preparation creates a sensation that few experience: tranquility in the midst of chaos. I started to notice this in my daily life. When bad news appeared, instead of feeling fear, I felt curiosity. What is this movement revealing? What opportunity might be hidden here? Which asset can be strengthened now? And this inner change is as powerful as the assets themselves. Because when the crisis hits, and it always hits, those who are unprepared run. But those who are prepared analyze, and that's when everything changes. I started to see people who previously trembled before the word recession suddenly making more mature, more calculated, more intelligent decisions. Not because they became rich overnight, but because they began to understand that wealth is not born from fright, it's born from understanding. And the truth is that when you start to walk this path, the path of construction, not reaction, you realize something that no one tells you. The rich don't wait for the perfect moment to act. They build the right mentality to see the perfect moment when it appears. And it always appears, sometimes hidden in a market drop, sometimes disguised in a crisis that scares the world, sometimes camouflaged in an opportunity that many ignore because they're looking in the wrong direction. And it was here that everything became really interesting for me. I started to realize that the real turning point in someone's financial life doesn't happen when they buy their first property, or open their first business, or start investing. The turning point happens before that, in a silent place where few people pay attention, in the way you interpret life's signs. Because we all receive signs, every day, but not everyone knows how to read them. And it was at this point that I finally understood why Kiyosaki insists so much on financial education. Not because he wants you to become an expert, but because without knowledge, you can't even notice when opportunity knocks at your door. And it never knocks twice in the same way. I saw this happen before my eyes more than once. People complaining about the crisis, while others, at that exact same moment, were buying cheap assets, negotiating participation in companies, acquiring properties that would later be worth 3, 4, 5 times more. The difference between them, one saw the problem, the other saw the price. And this led me to a profound reflection. It's not the crisis that changes your life, it's what you do with it. I started to study economic cycles, observe repeated behaviors, see how people react. And I noticed something almost invisible to the naked eye. The most valuable opportunities always appear when most are distracted by fear. It's as if the market tests people. It arrives silently, puts something in front of you and asks, are you prepared or not? And most of the time, the answer doesn't depend on the market. It depends on you. The more I understood this, the more natural this feeling of clarity became. I started to realize that wealth has nothing to do with running around all the time. It has to do with waiting for the right moment, with strategy, with patience, and with the courage to act when almost no one is looking. And this kind of courage is only born when you know exactly what you're doing. Over time, I realized that there is something that almost no one talks about when the subject is wealth. The journey is much more mental than financial. Before building assets, you need to build discipline. Before generating income, you need to generate clarity. Before having results, you need to have posture. And it's impressive how this emotional part is ignored. People want the money, but don't want the silence necessary to think. They want the opportunity, but don't want the patience to wait. They want freedom, but continue trapped in the same habits that put them where they are. Kiyosaki always reinforces something that many find too simple to be true. Your assets grow at the same speed as your financial maturity. And when I started to observe this in my own behavior, everything became clearer. I realized that it wasn't just a matter of buying a property, opening a business, or investing better. It was about learning to avoid impulsive movements, not following the herd, not making decisions based on emotion. After all, crisis doesn't just destroy money. It destroys those who act without thinking. And that's when I started to do something that completely changed the way I deal with money. I started to analyze each decision as if I were talking to my future self. The one who has already faced other crises. The one who has already learned from mistakes. The one who knows that a hasty choice today can cost years tomorrow. And with each reflection, I realized that the real differential of the rich is not the amount of money they have, but the quality of the questions they ask before acting. Questions that many people don't even consider. Does this bring me closer to freedom or take me away from it? Does this continue working even in a crisis? Does this depend on my daily effort? Or can it sustain itself? These questions are like filters. Filters that separate what seems good from what really is good. And when you learn to use these filters, something extraordinary happens. You stop building wealth on impulse and start building wealth with consciousness. And that's when the transformation truly begins. As I advanced on this journey, another perception began to gain strength within me. There is no true prosperity if you don't learn to navigate through uncertainty. Most people try to avoid the uncertain as if it were an enemy. They try to predict everything, control everything, anticipate every market movement. But deep down, it's impossible to control what happens outside. And that's why Kiyosaki's 4 assets are so powerful. They were not created to control the crisis. They were created to protect you from what cannot be controlled. And when I understood this, my view of risk changed completely. I realized that the risk is not in investing, entrepreneurship, or buying assets. The real risk is in depending on a single source of income, on a single skill, on a single way of thinking. That is the most dangerous bet of all. And it was at this point that the concept of financial resilience became clearer to me. Resilience is not having a lot of money. It's having different sources of security. It's having multiple possible paths. It's having enough structure so that even if one part of your financial life shakes, the others remain firm. When you have cash flow, solid businesses, properties that generate income, and financial education to interpret the world, a crisis becomes just a stronger wind, not a hurricane that drags you. And I started to feel something new, a calm confidence. Not that arrogant confidence of someone who thinks they know everything, but that serene sensation of someone who prepared, of someone who knows that whatever happens, there is a foundation, there is strategy, there is direction. And perhaps this is the biggest difference between those who grow and those who shrink during a crisis. Those who grow have preparation. Those who shrink only have hope. Hope is beautiful, but alone it doesn't pay bills, doesn't buy assets, doesn't build freedom. Preparation does. And every choice you make, every book you read, every skill you acquire, every decision you make with consciousness is one more brick in this silent construction. A construction that no one sees from outside, but that you feel from within. When you truly understand these ideas, you begin to realize that prospering has no relation to luck, privilege, or coincidence. It has to do with consciousness, preparation, and the courage to think differently from the majority. The true financial transformation begins the moment you decide to take full responsibility for your life and stop waiting for someone to come save you. It's when you choose to learn, improve, adjust your decisions, and build a path that makes sense for you instead of following the flow without questioning. Money has always been just a reflection of mentality, and that's why some people manage to advance even in the most difficult phases, while others remain stuck even in times of abundance. The difference lies in the way each one interprets challenges, opportunities, and risks. If you understood this, you're already a few steps ahead of the majority. And this means that your journey from here forward can be much greater than you imagine. And before you move on to the next video, I want to ask you something simple but important. If this content helped you think in a clearer and more mature way about wealth, discipline, and building the future, like this video, share it and subscribe to the channel. This helps me continue bringing messages that elevate your vision and strengthen your mind for the path you are building.